Hi friends, my name is Emily Chaddick and I am a dyslexia interventionist for HISD. Today I'm going to talk to you about a couple of different suffixes, and actually one of them makes two different sounds. I'm going to talk about consonant suffix S that makes the S sound, consonant suffix S that makes the Z sound, and vowel suffix ING. So what is a suffix? A suffix is a letter or group of letters added to the end of a base word. Remember, a base word is just a plain word that doesn't have anything added to it. Consonant suffix s means more than one, and this is a very common suffix that you will see in here. The first one that I'm going to show you, I'm going to show you the base word, and it's a consonant suffix because S is a consonant. This first word is bat. When it's just by itself, it's the base word. It means just one. When I add the suffix s to the end, we get bats, and now we have more than one. It could mean 2, it can mean 5, it can mean 100. It just means more than one. Next, I have the word hip, like the hip on your body. So if I fall and I hurt my hip, it means I've just hurt one hip. But if I add the consonant suffix s, it means I have fallen and hurt my, and if you want, you can write it down or you can just think about it, hips. So we have two hips. So if I've fallen and hurt my hips, that means I've hurt more than one. I'm going to give you a few seconds to think about another one. Now, these consonants, remember, these derivatives, I should say, the S on the end sounds like a S. Okay, it sounds like an S. So when you're thinking of a word right now, a derivative, I want you to try to think of one that sounds like S and not Z, because we'll talk about that one next. So the one that I came up with earlier is lap. Okay, so I decided to go run a lap. And if I said that, it means I just ran one lap. But if I add consonant suffix s to the end, I went to the park and I ran some laps. That means that I ran more than one. Okay, now again, remember these all sound like s. So now we're going to talk about consonant suffix s, but that make the z sound. Okay, it sounds like a z. This still means more than one. The first example I have for you is can. So if I drank 1 can of soda a day, that wouldn't be too bad, still not great for you. But if I add consonant suffix s and I had multiple cans of soda today, that would be very bad. Okay, it could mean 2 cans, but it could mean 10 cans. Either way, it's not good for you. Okay, so cans kind of sounds like a Z, right? It's actually an S. All right, my next word for you is bag. So I carried my bag into school. That means I carried one bag into school. If I add my suffix s to the end of that, my new word, my new derivative would be bags. It sounds like a Z, doesn't it? It means if I said I carried my bags into school, that means that I carried more than one bag. Okay, so now I'll give you a few seconds again. See if you can think of a word that has a suffix s on the end, but that sounds like a Z. Okay, so it's going to sound like Z on the end. I'll give you a few seconds. You can write it, you can think it. There's so many. I feel like there are more words that end with the S that sounds like a Z than the other one. So the one that I came up with is pal. So I went to the movie with my pal. That means I went with one friend. If I add a consonant suffix S to the end of that, I would say I went to the movie with my pals. That means I went with more than one friend. Okay, so now let's look at something. Why do some words sound like s, but some sound like z? Why do some of them sound different? Well, let's look at one example from our first, the consonant S page. All right, so if we look at our base word bat, it ends with this T here. And if you take your two fingers and you hold them up to your vocal cord and you make that sound, t, t, it's unvoiced. Okay, so when we read our derivative with the S on the end, it sounds like an S. Bats, bats. S makes the S sound because T is unvoiced. Okay, now let's look at can. Let's look at this final letter, this sound that the N makes, and let's see if that's voiced or unvoiced. That's a voiced sound. So when we read our derivative, cans, it sounds like a Z. So that is why sometimes when you have the suffix S on the end of the word, because if that base word ends in a sound that is voiced, it's going to sound like a Z. It's pretty cool, and I would highly recommend teaching someone about that. All right, final suffix. This is our vowel suffix, ing, and it's a vowel suffix because it begins with an I, and I is a vowel. It means that it's happening now. So, one example that I have is eat, right? I need to go eat. If I add ing to the end of that, I wouldn't say I need to go eating. I would say I am eating because it's happening right now. And so my derivative would be eating. My next example, sleep, okay? She will, or I need to go to sleep. Sorry, I was having trouble thinking of a sentence. I need to go to sleep. If I add ing to that, I could say something like, she is sleeping. She is sleeping right now, or I am sleeping. It means it's happening right now. Although I wouldn't say I am sleeping if I'm actually asleep. Okay, final one. I'm going to let you think of one for a moment. There's also a ton of these. Think of one, write it down. You can do your base word, your suffix, and then your derivative. Think of each part and put them together. So the one that I thought about and wrote earlier, walk. I need to go for a walk. If I add ing to that, I wouldn't say I need to go for walking. I could say I am walking, or he is walking, right? So our new derivative would be walking. Okay. Okay. Here are some ideas for things that you could do at home. I love the idea of teaching a younger brother or sister, anything for that matter. It doesn't have to be just related to this subject, but I think that you could teach them about some suffixes, especially S meaning more than one. You could teach your mom and dad about why S sometimes sounds like a Z. I love that, and they probably don't know why. So teach them that. That would be really cool. You can see how many words you can create on your own. I love this idea, and actually have a book here. I love to be a word detective and go on word hunts, especially during independent reading time. So you could just grab any book. Okay, it could be a picture book, it could be a chapter book, any book that you're reading during your independent reading time. See how many words you can find that end with an S or an ing. You can listen to others when they're talking. See if you hear them use any of those words or any words with those suffixes, S or ing. Here's a challenge. The words that you find from your book on your word hunt, or words that you hear someone saying, or any word from that matter, try to sort them. The consonant S's, you could put them in. These sound like S and these sound like Z. And then finally, have fun. Share these with your group at school, especially if you want to talk about some of those that have consonant suffix S. Maybe get someone to check over those and see if you did it correctly. And finally, if you need any more resources, please visit houstonisd.org/dyslexia. And there you will definitely find some more. And I hope you guys enjoy the presentation. Thank you. Bye-bye.